Well, I have the distinct pleasure this afternoon of interviewing Andy Barton, the unofficial town historian, on site in Dursley, England, and we're standing outside the original Lister factory. And Andy, why don't you tell us about the headquarter building there?
Yeah.
It looks very old.
I'll do that, Henry. What we're looking at here, Henry, is what's called the Priory. We're at the bottom of this street here we can see on the right hand side called Long Street. So right at the bottom of that is the Priory. 16th century. It was built originally as by a wealthy wool merchant. It later became the head office of R.A. Lister, who employed Michael Pedersen, who designed and manufactured the bicycle which we all know and love. And if we pan round, we can see Lister Petter, the company which is still producing engines in Dursley to this day.
That's mainly small diesel or gas?
Mainly diesel for industrial and marine use. And they're not all small, some of them are pretty big.
Okay, and you said also, I think, sheep shearing equipment.
Yep, if you look on the right hand side, the building with the sawtooth roof, that's Lister Shearing. They are one of the major sheep shearing equipment manufacturers in the world. So I think here in Australia have got two of the big ones.
Well, that's really interesting. And then behind us is what we came down to see, and this is
Raglan House. This is the home of Michael Pedersen. If you look to the left of the door, you will see a plaque with a picture of a bicycle, his designed bicycle on it, and his name. So that was where he lived during his time. He was Danish. He came to Dursley from Denmark to work for Lister's. He produced his cycles here, lived here, and ended up eventually at the end of his life going back to Denmark, where he unfortunately died a pauper. His grave was lost, forgotten, until the 1990s, when his enthusiasts discovered it. His body was brought back to England, to Dursley, and reinterred in Dursley Cemetery, and it's a bit of a centre for travellers, fans of the Pedersen cycle, to come and see that now. And we're going to go there after this.
And he had his own little test track.
He had his test track at the back of this house that we can see here. So he has a circular track, and there are some photos of him cycling around that.
Now, as I recall from reading David Evans' book, he produced the cycles here between 1897 and 1917.
Around about those dates. I think some of the early prototype ones were produced prior to that date, but there's not many of those around. But yeah, around 1915 to 1917, it went out of business. They were always the high-end cycles. They were expensive, which I guess is why not so many were sold, and perhaps why you don't find so many around these days. But
well, there's at least 6,000 of us enjoying them now.
Absolutely, and some are in Florida, so I hear.
Thank you, Andy.